Warning.
All displays of negativity will be deliciously repackaged
and promptly returned to sender. Only good vibes allowed beyond this point.
Now, if you're ready, come on in. What's going on, Champagne Gang, FizzFam, Confidante? Hi, I'm the Empress, and you are joining me in the chalet located in Champagne City for Sip, Savor, and Spill. So get ready to sip on the drama, savor the excitement, and spill the secrets on all things celebrity, reality TV, and social media. If you're new here, consider joining the Champagne Gang and the FizzFam. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified when we jump into whatever section we jump into for another show. And if you're not sure yet, don't worry about it. We'll leave the light on for you. If you're one of my returning confidants, you already know. Grab you a glass on the way in, kick your legs up on one of the chase chairs, and let's get ready to get into it. So on today's docket, we have TS Madison and Miss Netta. Ooh, the drama that's going on right now. And what I have to say, some of y'all are so hateful. You are hateful, spiteful, miserable, vindictive, toward what? We don't know. Malevolent, malicious, acrimonious, just nasty to name a few. Some of y'all have no identities, no personalities. You just jump on the hate trains without even knowing the destination. Y'all could be headed to crash and burn and you wouldn't know it because y'all are so far up these celebrities' asses, you can't tell if you're going in or coming out. What's wrong with y'all? And the reason I have ocean and fish in the background is because y'all keep referring to us as a name we've said over and over again we don't appreciate. According to y'all, we are cis, we are fish, TS said cunt, all of which are derogatory towards women. We ain't finna start that biological and non-derogatory towards women. But that doesn't stop anyone from using them, no. And let's get this clear, fish is not a new term. No, fish is an old term. I started hearing about fish when I was a youngin', and baby, I have passed 18 twice plus 11, so it's not new to me. So it's not new, and the term fish didn't just refer to women. Back in the day, there was no such thing as talk about trans. Hell, you could barely talk about being gay. But back then, you were straight, you were gay, you were bisexual, or you were cross-dresser. If you were a black gay woman who was butch, you were considered a stud, dagger, a dyke. If you were a black gay woman and you were feminine, you were considered fish. And then they started to call all feminine women fish. If you were a black gay man but you didn't exhibit feminine traits, you were a gay male punk. If you were over the top with exhibiting what you feel like femininity is, you were called an FAG. So that's where the F word came from. So these terms aren't new, but just like y'all don't like certain terms, we don't like them either. I'm not fish, I'm not cunt, I'm not cis. But we have the freedom of speech. So at the end of the day, people can say what they want. That's the problem. My granny always told me it's not what you're called, it's what you answer to. And the problem here is TS Madison and Miss Netta are answering way too much. So let's get into it. So for the last few days, all I have seen is TS Madison, Miss Netta. TS Madison, Miss Netta. Now, let me start off by saying this. This isn't a TS Madison hate train, nor is it a Miss Netta. So if you get in my comments with hate towards either one, the door, the plank, skedaddle, vamoose, sashay, away, because this ain't that. There are lessons to be learned from each side. Quick disclaimer, I don't know either one of them. I don't know their past, who they were, what they did. This commentary is based on the current situation and the current situation alone, and I don't care to know. We don't know how to leave the past in the past and move forward. That's our problem. We always want to regurgitate mess, and it's sickening. But I've watched Miss Netta, and I even did a video on Miss Netta and her bags. And I have seen individuals from her own community drag because Miss Netta doesn't want to sport a title. Why do we want people to have a title so bad? Miss Netta told folk I am who I am, and that wasn't good enough for y'all. I don't subscribe to all that. That wasn't good enough for y'all. Do you know why this is important? Because when you're vying to fit in, titles do nothing but separate. It doesn't bring unity, it brings hierarchy. If Miss Netta wants to dress as a woman, that's Miss Netta's prerogative. Who is anybody to say if you're going to dress as a woman, you have to identify as trans? Who gives anyone that right? Doesn't trans mean transitioning anyway? So if I'm not transitioning, that would exempt me from being trans anyway, right? Otherwise, you're just a gay male who likes to dress in drag or cross-dress, right? Here's the thing, because you can look at the Miss Netta thing in two different ways. Number two, we can say Miss Netta just needs to stay off the internet if Miss Netta is too sensitive and can't handle what people say and do. That's one way to look at it, and a lot of people look at it that way because somehow we feel like because someone is in the spotlight, it gives us the right to say and do whatever we want to them because they're in the spotlight. When you're in the spotlight, everything that you do is put on Front Street. Like Miss Netta saying she doesn't go in public dressed as a woman. Now, either Miss Netta lied or she said that before she started making money because we've seen Miss Netta in a jacuzzi. I know it's jacuzzi, don't do too much. And in public. But number one, we can look at it as instead of constantly talking about people are too sensitive, why can't we stop and think about the feelings of others before we do and say what we do? Why don't we stop and think about how we would feel if it was us on the other side of all the negativity and hate? Why can't someone be bold enough to stop the bully train? If you don't like what Miss Netta does or how Miss Netta dresses, stay the hell off Miss Netta's platform and the channels that support Miss Netta. How about that? Said it, won't take it back. Everyone has the right to be who they want to be in their own space, and they should have the right to be it without being made fun of or having to face criticism because you don't agree. There are so many channels that I follow on YouTube and elsewhere. Do I agree with everything they say? No, but I'm not going to challenge you on your platform. That's your space. If they start talking about something I can't get behind, I log off. That's what that button is for. I'm not going to unlike. I'm not going to report you unless you're doing something to hurt somebody. For what? That's your space. So when Miss Netta started addressing the hate train, I said, yeah, maybe Miss Netta not ready for the limelight yet because it comes with the territory. Only because you have all of these hateful inbreds who wallow in the fact that misery loves company and they want to make everybody else as miserable as they are. They want everybody else to be as insecure as they are. So they talk about others to hide their insecurities. Ignore these miserable motherfuckers. Ignore them and do you. And the fact that people ran to TS Madison with what Miss Netta so-called said, are we 12? See, we like mess too much. That's the problem. We cannot survive without mess, without causing chaos, and without drama. Anybody who will tell stuff to you, baby, will tell stuff on you. You can't trust a snitch because they'll throw you under the bus every time if it means saving themselves, even when there's no bus in sight. Some of y'all are creating buses and throwing people under them just to have some drama going on so that you don't have to deal with or face your own. And some of y'all, like TS Madison, are falling right in the trap every time. So now, on to TS. First of all, I didn't know TS stood for transsexual, although I knew she was trans. Let's set the record straight. If some of y'all hadn't known TS, or if she hadn't been so vocal about being trans, you wouldn't have known right off bat. Stop lying. There's no way to look at TS Madison and tell that is a man. Stop it. The way I knew TS was trans was by her voice, not her looks. Let's face it, whether you like her or not, whether you agree with her or not, whether you agree with her lifestyle or not, the fact of the matter is TS Madison is gorgeous. If you say she's not, it's because you're transphobic. And let's clear that word up real quick, because we call everything transphobic. If someone doesn't agree with your lifestyle, you're transphobic. No, some people just grew up with a certain set of values and standards that doesn't match what is being presented. But that doesn't make them transphobic. Phobia is defined as the fear of So transphobia is the fear of trans. So to have transphobia would be if you're afraid to be in places or near individuals who are trans. That's transphobia. My child can't play with your child because you're trans. That's transphobia. We have to leave this restaurant because you serve trans in here. That's transphobia. I can't touch that because they touched it. That's transphobia. But not agreeing with you is not transphobia. We want to force people to think like us and accept us and support us. But then that in turn shows your phobia. Anthropophobia, the fear of being rejected by other people. You're so scared of being rejected by people that you can't sit in your own uniqueness, in your own individuality, without needing someone to validate you. And validation is for vehicles, it's not for people. And a lot of people struggle with this. Baby, at the end of the day, the only ones who need to accept you are you, yourself, and God. Fuck everybody else. Stop trying so hard to prove who you are to people because they will either accept you or reject you. You can't change it. You don't get to control the narrative, and the more you do, the more wrong you can look. Now let's enter TS Madison into the chat because people were constantly telling TS what Netta supposedly said, and TS responds. Check this out, and it's not the whole live. I just took a portion of it so that I can show you where we mess up. Watch this real quick.
You say I heard what Miss Netta said? No, I didn't hear anything what Miss Netta said. I don't have no problem with Miss Netta. I done told y'all. I done said that y'all 50-11 times. I don't have no problem with Miss Netta. Why would I have a problem with Miss Netta? What is one? Girl, I'm not going through this stuff. What did Miss Netta say? Bless her heart. If Miss Netta said something, bless her heart. Because I've never read Miss Netta. There's no reason for me to read Miss Netta. Hi Riley, I love you. Why would I be jealous of Miss Netta? Shit. I don't. Girl, bless her heart. Oh yeah, she was wearing Craig out. Well, I mean, Craig was fucking with her. Craig been reading her for weeks and shit. Like, girl, I wouldn't expect nothing else from her but to tear him up. Shit. Oh yes, baby, you know I keep me a box fan. I'm fat. I'm gonna keep a box fan. I don't give a fuck how much money I got. I'm gonna keep me a box fan.
See, you don't have to run to every fight you're invited to. That's the problem. Here's where TS Madison messed up, right? Unless you like mess, you're supposed to check mess when it comes your way. All T.S. Madison had to say was, I've already addressed that, and I don't have a problem with Miss Netta, and left it there. What's understood need not be explained, so if you understood what you were saying to be true, you should have left it at that. I remember seeing a live from Donat on the Donat show, and he was addressing his chat saying, if you bring me something someone else said about me, you're getting blocked. Off with your head. Because see, when you really don't care and you really stand on what you believe, you don't waste your time on it. But instead of leaving it at that first statement, she continued on and started pulling videos of what people were saying and how people were comparing and feeding into other people's opinion. But see, we live for the back and forth. We do. We live for the drama. How do I know? Well, because this isn't my first channel. No. My first channel, which is still up and is a backup one to this one, was strictly an empowerment channel because that's my forte. But I realized that people don't necessarily accept empowerment. I was barely getting any views and subscribers. You almost have to trick people into empowerment. So I started this channel and I started covering mess but throwing empowerment in it, and I started seeing numbers. And do you know which videos have the most numbers? The ones where I'm covering mess. I had one young lady that I saw in the comments on someone else's video say, I'm not looking for empowerment, I'm looking to shake my ass. And what you gonna do when ain't no more milk in that shake, huh? And they be the same ones hollering about being depressed. But I create a whole section devoted to helping people to overcome it, teaching people how to get over heartbreak, and barely any views. Do you know why? Because I'm not telling you the best way to get over one is to get under another one. There it is. Or telling you to drop the location so we can spin the block on that fool. If I really wanted to see my channel grow, if it was really all about just numbers and growth, all I'd have to do is take all these messy situations and start dragging everyone for filth, and you'll start seeing, I love it here. I've seen it too many times on other platforms, And I've seen other platforms change up the way they do their videos because they realize that's what the people wanted. And then they switch back to what they originally intended after they built a following, because they understand there's a method to the madness. And you gotta wade through the madness in order to get to the method, because people live for the drama. But TS could have left it there, but no, she continued.
I saved it because I posted it. I watched these things and just was like, girl, what's the tea?
Bitch, I knew eventually that TS Madison and Miss Netta was gonna bump heads. And you know what I hate about what TS Madison do sometimes is she'll let other people sit there and read and roast while she tries to play coy like she don't know what the fuck going on. You know, say what you feel, sweetie. Like when I seen Miss Netta on TS Madison's show and she proposed to ask that question, are you trans or not? I knew that eventually down the road these bitches was gonna bump heads, because an insecurity that I noticed that T.S. Madison has, one of her biggest insecurities, is being clockable. You know, she has a lot of assets, she's very beautiful, but she doesn't like the fact that people can look at her and clearly see that she's a man. And for a long time, people could not tell if Miss Netta was a man or a woman. And yeah, Miss Netta might not be as beautiful as T.S. Madison, by American beauty standards, but it's like she still was not clockable, and that's something that T.S. Madison really wants to achieve. I mean, I don't know, I could be wrong, but that's just what it seems like to me. Bitch, I knew eventually that T.S. Madison.
Okay, so I mean, that's her, his, they, them. I don't know their pronouns because I don't really know that person. So that's their synopsis of the way that they feel about the whole take of, like, when Craig sits down and he has conversations about Miss Netta, and I just be like, if y'all have watched me on countless times, y'all have watched me tell Craig, like, please Craig, like, I don't want to talk about Miss Netta. Or you've seen me on numerous occasions try to really in a space talk about having, correct pronouns and stuff like that. Like you see me say this countless times. And even when I did this right here, but before I go to that, there's another thing that I want to talk about while I have you guys. Let me turn the fan down low. Oh, there's another thing that I want to talk about and it's like, so I want to be real so bad, like, I want to be there. Okay, so my insecurity is that people, like, when people look directly at me, they was like, oh, that's a man, you're a man. Okay, got it. And my whole goal in life is to be unclockable. Okay, got it. So my name being Transsexual Madison, TS Madison, Transsexual Madison. Me saying titties at the top, dick at the bottom. Me saying I'm a transgender woman, I'm not a female. Me saying I'm a transgender woman, not a woman, I'm a transgender woman. Me saying, okay, so I'm trying to figure out about this clocking stuff. I mean, these are people's interpretations. So okay, but whatever. All right, you got it.
Now, up until this point, all through this, I'm with TS. I completely understand what she's saying. I still feel like she should have left it at what she said in the beginning and not went on. But up until this point, I'm still with her. The problem is, though, T.S. Madison is bothered. I don't think she's jealous of Miss Netta. She's bothered by the acceptance that we have of Miss Netta. And when I say we, I mean us, people, the culture, the world, social media. This is where comprehension comes in at. A lot of times I have to get on people in my comments about comprehension because we don't comprehend well and we don't listen to what's being said so that we can comprehend what's being said. We listen to what's being said so that we can have a snapback at it. And a lot of times we're snapping back at stuff that's completely out of context. The simple fact that TS had to ask the question, so y'all think I'm a man but Miss Netta is not, lets us know that she's bothered. Not by Miss Netta. That's just like when people talk about Krishan's parenting skills and not being concerned that something could possibly be wrong with her baby. And people sit back and say, children are off limits. That's why a lot of y'all are running around here all fucked up now because children are off limits, and that's her child, and I'm not gonna tell her how to raise her child. Let me tell y'all something. I have 2 grandchildren, one of which passed away in March, and several godchildren, not to mention nieces and nephews. And you are sick in the head if you think I am gonna sit back and do and say nothing, and something is wrong with my grandchild, and my daughter ain't doing everything she can to make sure he's okay. Are y'all okay? Do you think as a grandmother I would sit back and watch someone hurting a child, any child, period, and not say something? In the words of Biden, if you think that, you have the morals of an alley cat. But that's how y'all do, because you lack the benefit of comprehension. If we are saying this child may have cognitive difficulties, as a mother, why wouldn't you want to check to make sure your child is okay? But no, the world, y'all talking about the baby. Somebody talking about the baby. Y'all need to stop talking about the baby. Somebody needs to start talking about the baby so the baby can get help. But I digress. We lack comprehension in matters. What TS said had nothing to do with Miss Netta. It had to do with y'all opinions of Miss Netta. It had to do with people seeing in Miss Netta what they didn't see in TS. Here's the thing. In a lot of families, people have aunties, grandmas, cousins, etc. that look like Miss Netta. From face to body, even sound like Miss Netta. Miss Netta's voice is lighter in tone than TS. TS still got some growl in her throat. She still got some husk. And that's not a negative, it's a fact. Y'all are confusing being aesthetically pleasing with womanhood. Baby, it's a bunch of women right now who are not gay that we could show you and they would make you question it. There's a lot of women with big feet and big hands like TS, and they were born women. But with TS, she sees her shape and her breasts and her hair and lashes and makeup, and in her mind, even after I did all of this, y'all still don't see me as a woman. But you have Miss Netta, whose body is built like a fidget spinner, and you think how? You're confusing aesthetics with appearance. And I can understand why TS asked the question, do I think she wants to be unclockable? Yes and no. No, because she admits she's trans. She has breasts and a woodpecker. But yes, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have gone through the steps necessary to have the body to look like one. And until TS is honest with herself, she will always be triggered. Because when you're no longer triggered, you no longer address it. Y'all buttons are way too much in view. You need to learn how to hide your triggers so people wouldn't easily push your button. And you know when people's buttons have been pushed because they run to the internet to address it. What's understood need not be explained. The minute you start explaining, it was never understood.
And when have me and Netta bumped heads? When have me and Netta bumped heads? Oh, okay, all right. I just listened to y'all. Now, there was another gentleman that came on his TikTok, and he stated this.
We're going to talk about it like this because this topic has been bugging me. And I had to just sit back and just break it down. What is up with the Miss Netta hate train? And I thought about it. If we figure out who the passengers on the Miss Netta hate train is, then we can figure out what is fueling the Miss Netta hate train. The passengers on the Miss Netta hate train is hateful as black women, mean as gays, and believe it or not, other trans women. Now, what do all of these people, these 3 categories of people, what do they notoriously have in common? Transphobia. That is what they have in common. So all 3 categories of those people, of those passengers on the Miss Netta hate train, all are fueling the hate train with transphobia. And also, got to throw this in there, there's desirability. You know, desirability, that can break off into a whole bunch of other subcategories. Texturism, featureism, colorism. All of that is going in there. And so what made me think about this is because I saw a video that I will also tag where someone was saying, like, that dude that's on TS Madison's show, he's always going in on Miss Netta. Just unprovoked, unprompted. He's always just going in and really dragging it. But just the other day, another tired ass butch queen was going in on trans people altogether. And we know that in the gay community, transphobia is very rampant.
Right.
And that's exactly what that old tired ass queen on TS Madison's show was participating in. He was participating in transphobia. And if memory serves, didn't TS Madison also call Miss Netta by her dead name, which is Joe, which is also a layer of transphobia? So would that mean that T.S. Madison was participating in transphobia?
Oh.
But didn't T.S. Madison also get upset when people calling her Timothy?
Oh, really?
And she also got upset with Just Hilarious when Just Hilarious was participating in transphobia. And then it also made me question, why is T.S. Madison allowing somebody like Craig to sit up here and go in on Miss Netta like that? But T.S. Madison also sat next to Kaya for years. We all know Kaya's a stone cold bitch. Kaya doesn't hide that. And T.S. Madison was cool with that until Kaya became a problem for T.S. Madison. Now you can see all the transphobia that Kaya was presenting and the homophobia that she was presenting and her calling you by your dead name. Now you had a problem with that. Only to turn around and do it to another trans person. Whether Miss Netta identified with being trans or not, you can still exhibit transphobia. You can still participate in transphobia and use it as a weapon to somebody who is not even trans. And we see that with that cis-het black woman who was killed because a man thought she was trans and she wasn't. And I sat back and I was like, T.S. Madison is really sitting up here participating in transphobia and allowing it to go on her platform. And then I'm like, but why would she do that? That's when desirability comes in. A lot of y'all want Miss Netta to be the internet punching bag because you don't think that she is desirable and you don't think that she deserves any of the things that she has. Because y'all are mean ass people. Y'all are mean ass, low down, evil ass people. And it's disgusting to sit back and watch that happen. I can't support nobody like that. And that made me question, is T.S. Madison really an advocate for trans women, or is T.S. Madison really just an advocate for passable trans women? Because it's all tea and shade and gagging and reading and roasting and all that. But at some point it becomes overkill. And it makes me question, like, why are you really going in like this? Is it internalized transphobia? Possibly. But I can't fuck with it. It's a bunch of mean-ass black women that's on the hate train, mean-ass gay men that are on the hate train, and self-hating trans women that are on the hate train. And that is what's fueling that hate train. That's why that was bothering me so much. I was like, what is going on? Like, why do y'all hate this woman so bad? Because you don't think that she is desirable and you don't think that she deserves anything. Y'all are some evil-ass people. Oh, and one more thing. Her responding back to y'all in a negative way to negativity is not justification for your transphobia. It's not justification for your mean and nasty ass words. We're going to talk about...
Okay, so I digested that and I watched it and I was like, So before I even decided I was going to do this video, I went back and I started thinking like, well, what is all the things that I have said that T.S. Madison, have said that was transphobic against Miss Netta? And that person, I went through his page. I just went through a few things and I was like, well, where were you when I bequeathed my house to the T.S. Madison Starter House program? Where were you? Where was your coverage, your video coverage on me donating my entire old home back to my community? Where were you when in these deep concerns and these deep-rooted thoughts on how I feel about trans people? Where were you? Why was there no coverage from any of y'all talking about? There was no coverage from you. Where were you in speaking on the T.S. Madison Starter House? Where were you located with that? I don't understand. I can't. I've been looking around for any coverage from that, and I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Where were you? Where were you with that? Like, where are you anytime that I'm on television programs like Tamron Hall talking about how we endanger as trans? I didn't see you talking about me being on Tamron Hall. I didn't see you talking about me being on The Breakfast Club talking about trans people's existence. I don't see any of y'all that have this aggression or this built up disdain for me, or this now you're on this, I'm pro for trans. I don't see you sharing any of these things when I'm sitting on platforms fighting for trans people. I don't never see it. I never see it. But I did see you eating those buffalo wings. I did see you, peddling yourself to try to get whatever your artwork sold to somebody. You want some person to pick up your artwork. But I've never seen you anywhere in any time I've occupied magnificent spaces for trans people talking about T.S. Madison's presence. And for any of you to go back to me, to Kaya sitting next to me, I haven't sat next to Kaya, and it's 2024. Let it go. I haven't sat next to Kaya in 7 years. It's going on almost a decade. So I don't understand. I don't get it. And to bring everything full circle with this, let's talk about this.
This is my way. I'm not no transsexual. I ain't no whatever the else community or whatever they got going on. I'm just myself. And if y'all people know me and y'all people from my hometown, y'all would know I never, ever, and still never went outside dressed like no woman. I never, and when I get my makeup done and stuff here and put on my clothes to do my skits and stuff, nobody ever see me in public.
Let's round that back.
My way. I'm not no transsexual. I ain't no whatever the else community or whatever they got going on. I'm just myself. And if y'all people know me and y'all people from my home.
So from the horse's mouth, you heard her say that she's not a transsexual. So I've never given Miss Netta any transphobia. I've never said any transphobic things about Miss Netta. So you heard it from Netta's mouth that she says that she's not transsexual. And you haven't heard me say any transphobic thing against Miss Netta. I've never said anything negative or transphobic to Miss Netta. Never. Not once. Not one time have I ever. Never done it. So when y'all be coming making these statements about me, if you have a problem with Craig, let Craig hold it, because Craig was reading Miss Netta. He was. And I always just tapping Craig on his shoulder saying, Craig, I don't want to talk about Miss fucking Netta. So let's when y'all feel some way about TS Madison, let's stand on business while you feel some type of way about TS.
Silence is consent. I need y'all to drop that in the chat with some champagne bottles. Silence is consent. Whenever you sit back and you allow someone to say or do something negative, vile, or hurtful against someone else and you say nothing, it's the same as if you said it yourself. If it's your platform, you are responsible for what happens on it. So you have to accept some responsibility if someone says something negative in your presence or on your platform and it wasn't immediately checked. It would make it look like you are in total agreement or you are sitting back and allowing someone else to do your dirty work. I went through hell, absolute hell on jobs because I wouldn't sit back and be silent when others were being used, misused, mistreated, or abused. Wouldn't do it. You better believe I spoke up because that's the cloth I'm cut from. So it makes my blood itch to sit back and hear some of the horrible things that y'all say and do to each other on Beyonce's Enter of the Net and China's World Wide Web. Because some of y'all practice hard looking ass ninjas, feel so protected behind some of these screens. Y'all stress me out. You do. Can't we all just get along? Some of y'all do a lot of pushing. This do and say nothing for cloud ass world that we live in, knowing y'all would be run Forrest run if you ever ran into these people in real life. You not bad. You not bad. But you have to do something that we hate to do, and that's take accountability. There it is. We don't want to do that because a lot of times that means admitting, you know what, I was wrong. In that in saying nothing, I actually said everything. If you didn't want it addressed, it should have been stopped or addressed on the very platform that it was done on, in front of the very individuals you did it in front of. Otherwise, those are just pretty words with no substance, and you're actually proving the people right in what they were saying. You can't straddle the fence. That's like saying, I'm not going to talk about you, but I'm going to sit with the people that's talking about you. But I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to talk about you. What they say is on them. Child. So you would say we straight, we cool, we ain't got no problems. But let somebody jug me in the back and say nothing to me? You wouldn't even warn me of what's coming? Because that's what you're saying. And so are you an advocate for the trans community only, or also for the LGBTQ community? Because trans or not, Ms. Netta is still a part of the community. And that goes for the hateful ones that look no better than Miss Netta, but criticize her because she doesn't fit your status quo, not realizing that you're in the same quo and have the same status. As a community, how can you expect the world to accept what you are when y'all can't agree on who you are? Just like the black community, we ain't no different. There's more hate on the inside than on the outside. There is. We do more damage to each other than anybody else could ever do to us. Same with the LGBTQ community. Y'all are your own worst enemy.
Y'all feel some type of way because T.S. Madison lives lavish. T.S. Madison has money and she stands on it and tells y'all, bitch, I'm rich. T.S. Madison motherfucking occupies many spaces because every time somebody pops up in social media that has some type of following, y'all always thinking that I'm somewhere jealous of them because they have. Sweetie, I've transcended social media. I've transcended social media, bitch. Bitch, I'm in movies, television, streaming, music, bitch, across the globe. Are you kidding me? What would I be worried about Miss Netta calling Charles to come get a plate? Yes, I asked. So you mean to tell me that you've looked at Netta and you've looked at me and I look exactly like a man to y'all? Okay, got it. Because if Netta is realness, then let me be a tranny. That's not a read, bitch. That's me saying, girl, bitch, so I'm not the cunt and Netta's the cunt? Got it. All right, if that's the way y'all feel, there you go. Got it. So boy, that's over there on his page that is so super, you're so for trans and this is for trans that. I don't even know your name. You so for trans this, you so for trans that. Make sure when you talk about TS Madison, you talk about TS Madison's impact as a black transgender woman in the trans community, what she has done and how she has moved the trans needle, bitch, in popular culture. Let's talk about that before you start talking about, bitch, what I've said about Miss Netta, because you can't find a space anywhere of me being transphobic towards Miss Netta. And when Miss Netta does not identify as a transgender woman. Eat a dick with your chicken wings, bitch. Do that for me. So when the next time you open up your mouth and you speak in T.S. Madison's direction, bitch, speak factually. Now, let's go here. Are you a part of the LGBTQIA community?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I just asked. I wanted to know. Okay.
Oh, okay. Ask that question one more time.
Miss Netta, are you a part of the LGBTQIA community?
I didn't quite understand you, but yes, I am.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, because I know, even, you know, I'm trans, so my pronouns are she and her, so I respect everybody's pronouns. And obviously, I'm not going to call you anything but she and her because you played the woman role over there frying bacon and sauteing for Charles, honey. But so what area would you fall under in the LGBTQIA community? Are you non-binary, trans?
You know, I never categorized myself in none of that. I just always been myself, and this me, my everyday look. You know, this my everyday look and stuff, and it's just something I just been doing ever since I was, you know, growing up in life. And I don't think I'm a transsexual. I don't think I'm a whatever the other names they got. I don't like calling them. I don't think I'm none of those. I just more be like myself. You know, my stage name is Miss Netta. A lot of people knows my real name thanks to the internet, which is fine, but it doesn't matter. A lot of people say I'm ashamed of my sexuality, which I am not, because people here in our city knows me and everything. So it wasn't about me hiding my sexuality, because we are well known here in the city. But it was just more like that was my business, and when I wanted to put my business out, then that's when I do it. And I just wasn't ready yet.
So you know the girls are gagging to know when you say your sexuality. So this means were you born male like me? Because I was born male.
Yes, I was born male.
Okay, sister. What the dang?
So whoever that's watching this, y'all got y'all answer. I mean, I never put it out there, but you know, like I said, if we go live and we feel like that we comfortable and stuff in the live, you know, we would come out and we would say, you know, what, you know, answer some of their questions. And so, you know, it's out.
I like it. So what area would you fall under in the LGBTQIA community? Are you non-binary, trans?
You know, I never,
Okay, so again, this is twice that Miss Netta has stated that she's not trans. This is twice that I've been very respectful to Netta, even in the space of me not knowing. I wanted to know exactly which pronouns to use for Miss Netta. So therefore, when all of that stuff was going on, so when you talk, when you open your mouth and speak on me, you homosexual, bitch, speak to me factually. Speak about me factually. Don't speak on me on no fucked up position that you come in because you still over there in Kaya's pussy. Bitch, don't talk to me like you can speak to me in a place of, bitch, I'm transphobic and like I don't be on the front line of motherfucking scrimmage for my people. I gave my whole fucking house back to my community. Pussy nigga. I'm not just sitting on there eating chicken wings talking about motherfucking trans fucking issues. Bitch, I'm in the field. So let's get back to more facts. Since you hoes want to play with my motherfucking time and pussy, bitch, eat a dick. Who in the fuck feels some type of way about Miss Netta? Why? Netta's not doing anything, bitch, that I haven't done or I haven't cleared a path for her to do. Have you lost your fucking mind, nigga? Have all you bitches lost your motherfucking mind, bitch? Of course, you've lost your mind. So my thing is, I don't understand where are you. I didn't download this other shit to my phone. I don't understand where y'all hoes at, where y'all bitches be at when TS Madison is breaking down barriers for trans people, and you run up here and you got piss on your chest for me, bitch, because Craig was reading Miss Netta, and because I said, bitch, yes, I fucking said, bitch, if you look directly at me and you look directly at Netta and you scream that I'm a man and bitch and Netta is fish, great, okay, all right, cool. And And for you cunts that be in that bullshit, talking that trash, I told y'all, it's y'all not hard to look like. You're not hard to look like. Y'all were confused on Netta. You're not hard to look like. It's not like there's some math equation, bitch, where you got to put letter Q, letter T, and letter F and Z together to make one of you motherfuckers. And I'm not talking about my girls that get it. I'm talking about my girls that motherfucking sit over there and talk about, bitch, that I'm a man, bitch, and that Netta's cunt. You're not hard to look like, sweetie. Sweetheart. You can go back and you can find countless.
This is where she lost me at, right? Whenever you have to start explaining who you are, it makes me feel you are not secure in who you are. What's understood need not be explained. People are mad at your lifestyle. Well, they may be, but what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? We are talking about what was done on your platform, and you are now taking the time to address it. And this is where we start seeing the superiority complex that people are speaking of. I've transcended social media. Well, if you did, you wouldn't still be on it because you'd be too high for it. But you're on it because you still need it, even if for your own validation. There it is. There's a way to be wrong in a right situation. There is. There is a way to be right, but handle it so wrong that you actually become wrong. We spend so much time trying to vindicate ourselves that many times we actually indict ourselves. We do. Because in frustration, we react instead of think, and we just start letting stuff fly out. And I don't know about y'all, but I was taught if you ever want to know a person's heart, get them mad or drunk. A drunk mind tells a sober truth. That's what we heard. And in anger, you became wrong because you started taking shots you didn't even know you were taking. Or were waiting on the moment to take those shots. I don't know. You do. But why did any of that need to be mentioned? Who are you trying to prove it to? You've arrived. You've made it. Why not enjoy it instead of taking our time to address stuff like this? Remember, ish don't stink until you step in it. And you would let these people drag you and your designer hair through this ish? So to then go on a whole Netta rant to prove that you don't have a problem, you actually came off like you really have a problem. Because the more you talk about her, the more relevant you make her. You do, because people who didn't know who she was are going to go find out who she is. That's how this works. You know that. You put blood in the water and the sharks are gonna go sniffing. That's why you don't run to every fight you're invited to. This is why. Did you know in an interrogation, the more you talk and explain yourself, the more guilty you look? At some point, you have to get to the point where you say, baby, if you say 2 + 2 is 10, so be it. Cool. There it is then. Say less. Because I don't have the mental capacity, emotional fortitude, or enough juice in my patience meter to try to explain to you why it's not. Baby, my inner Virgo could never. But I paved the way for her between the lines. You know what you low-key but high-key are saying? How dare y'all put her on the same level as me? How dare you? It's right up there with, do you know who I am? I made you, nigga. This is what TS gave me in that moment. We mess up so bad sometimes when we don't just shut up. Everything doesn't need to be addressed. It doesn't. Everything doesn't need a moment. 2 + 2 is 10. Okay. Do you see Beyonce addressing everything that's said about her on the enter of the net? No, because she doesn't have to. This my world, squirrel. You just trying to get a nut. But you kept going and going and going. And then you started attacking women. Hey, what? So now all women had to catch a strike. You're not hard to look like? Why was that necessary, huh? Because women were talking about you for saying stuff about Miss Netta? Come on now. Now we're back to attacking women when you were made over to look like one? And it doesn't matter that you say I'm not talking to all y'all. Well, how the hell not? A woman is a woman is a woman. So if you say it's not hard to look like one, you're saying it's not hard to look like all. But you're right. It's not hard to look like us. But it's impossible to replace us. So you're right. We're not hard to look like. We're hard to be. Because even if they came out with a way to recreate the reproductive system in a man, you would still only be a copy of an original masterpiece. We gotta do better. We gotta leave people alone and let them be. If they're not hurting nobody, let people be. Stop being so hateful and spiteful, and stop addressing everything you hear. We spend so much time fighting battles that we were never meant to fight, that when we finally get to the ones that we have nothing left. Stop fighting unnecessary battles. It's unnecessary. This was not a battle TS needed to fight, because the minute you took the time out to address it, baby, you already lost. That's all I have for this one. Drop in the comments and let me know what you think about this whole TS Madison, Miss Netta situation. And be cool, be calm, be collected, be nice in the comments, because I already gave the warning in the beginning and I'd hate to have to fulfill it. But drop in the comments and let me know what you think about this one. Consider joining the Champagne Gang and the FizzFam. Hit that like and subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified when we jump into whichever section we jump into for another show. Consider hitting the Cash App. It is on the screen. Thank you for joining us for Sip, Savor, and Spill. Until next time, stay sweet, keep it bubbly, and always remember, if it doesn't cause you to elevate, it's causing you to depreciate. Now raise those glasses, clink, and let's drink. Till we meet again. Ta-ta.